Hi, I'm Dan Doolan. You may know me from Nothing But Static, Fringe Observers, and Stephen University.
Hi, I'm Chris. You might know me from those things as well.
Have you ever thought, I'd love to give those guys some money?
No.
I'm going to take that silence as a you haven't, but it's fine because now you can think about it because I'm saying it directly to your ears.
There we go.
Have
you ever thought?
I don't think I intended this to be as awkward as it's become.
Have you ever thought? I'd love it if those guys promised me more content, and I was slightly nervous about whether they'd deliver. No, we'll deliver.
Yeah, we're doing one of them fancy Patreon page things because we're sellouts now. That's the thing.
Even in jest, it worries me when you say that.
Yeah, no. Okay, so to drop the pretense for a second, to drop the gag advert voice. Basically, we've expanded to a couple of different podcasts now. Costs are skyrocketing because Libsyn, which is our host, whom we never give enough credit for, they're an amazing host. The only downside to their service is if you have multiple podcasts, costs go quite high. So basically, we're just looking to make if possible, just a couple of quid to cover that, so we break even. We don't want to turn a profit on the podcast, and we'll never hide any of this existing content behind a paywall.
Meaning for those that don't necessarily know that term, that means we'll never turn around suddenly and be like, oh, SU or MBS is you have to pay to hear it now, or even the archive. I know a lot of people like archive their stuff behind a paywall. Mm-hmm. All of our stuff, all of the dates we release, all of the length, all of that is staying exactly the same. Mm-hmm. It's just we've never in 5 years we've never gone, here's a PayPal page where you can donate if you'd like to. This is our equivalent of that. There's going to be some extra content which we'll tease in a sec, but it's basically us going, if you want to donate a couple of quid, if you would have done that by PayPal or something like that, then you can use the Patreon page to do so.
And you'll get access to all the content you usually do, and then maybe a couple of tiny extras. Right now I'm leaning away from the extras thing just so we don't make any promises we can't keep. But there is certainly the notion of us putting a few little bonus things up for people. Like, for example, I might make the songs that I've done on this available as a small album called Only One Verse Too Long.
Yep. And there's talk of can I tease the sci-fi related thing? I've got it now. There's talk of us hopefully at some point doing the Missing Who reviews. So as everyone knows, we started doing our annual Who review at season 7, I believe. So there's 6 seasons we didn't do where we went through it episode by episode. So we're hoping to maybe do some of them and put that up there as well, because we wouldn't be able to justify doing that on Nothing But Static. Like if any bonus content goes on there, we would put high quality or at least at the quality you're currently getting content up there. But it would be stuff that we would be interested in putting out but couldn't justify putting on one of the main content podcasts. So that's a really good example. Like, that's something we'd like to do. It's something we think people would be interested in, but you can't go on this week's MBS we're going to look at Doctor Who episodes that are 11 years old. But 100%. We could use the Patreon page for that.
So basically the premise is, if you want to give us some money, you can. If you don't, that's cool. Basically, I'm going to steal the way that it's described from the guys who do the Weekly Planet, which is whatever amount, if it was to fall out of your pocket, you wouldn't notice was gone, is the perfect amount. And if that amount is 0, because you would notice every penny, then you should not be supporting in that way. Continue to support in the way of just listening and maybe tweeting at us every now and then. Support in that way. Whereas if you have disposable income and you're happy to support, then great. We again, it's simply, my goal is basically to cover our server costs if possible. And even if we don't quite cover that, it's fine. And if we don't cover it at all and no one goes for this, then fine also. Like, we'll just keep paying it ourselves. It's just that in an ideal world, it'd be nice for this to not put us in the minus. As it is currently doing. That would be lovely. But again, even that is not this won't go away if we can't manage that, if that makes sense.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the basic premise. Head over to the Patreon page, which I think is just like patreon.com/nothingbutstatic, and throw some funds our way if you can. Also, it's worth noting there are tiers. The tiers exist to give people different options of the amount they would give, and it's a monthly thing, so it's like a subscription. So you can there's like $2, $5, $10, like it just goes up in page. It's just worth noting that the tiers don't mean anything. They're just if it depends on how much you want to give. Basically, they are all.
It's just to give options.
Yeah, they you won't get anything more if you give 10 over 2 or whatever. I've been very, very optimistic. I think I've put options up to 100 on there, as if someone's going to give us that much money,
which I thought was quite frankly a joke.
It was a bit. To be honest with you, I nearly put that on that. I nearly wrote like, "This is a joke. Don't do this. You're crazy. Back out now. Back out now. Back out now." But I figured it was one of those things where it was just like, it seemed. It just the way it stepped up, it just felt like, it was, what was it, 5, 10, 20, 50, 100. I don't know. It went up like in like double increments like that, and it just, I don't know. It just seemed like that was the natural.
If you want to give 100 just so we email you and go, "Don't do this," then that's fine, because that's what
you'll get a personal message from us saying, "Please don't do this."
Yeah, I would never see someone bid 100 and go, "Okay, cool, I've accepted that." I'd email them and be like, "This is ridiculous."
Yeah. But anyway, that's we'll let you get back to your regularly scheduled podcast, because I'm sure you didn't come here just to be told about a Patreon page. But yeah, that exists. Check it out if you're interested. If not, feel free to send your abuse to all the usual places, Twitter and that.
Twitter and that.